Hello, my name is Ryan Steinberg. For the showcase presentation, I will be presenting the VR Project Internship. My graduation date is expected on December of 2023. My major is in simulation game design and my minor is in history. My internship position is the VR Project Programmer. The VR Project is a virtual VR tour of William Peace University, and its purpose is to give people a tour of campus in the event that they cannot attend and go to the campus in person to attend any tours. The VR tour of William Peace University was made using the Unreal Engine with teams consisting of 2 people or more, depending on who is interested. The VR tour of William Peace University is planned to be finalized and released in the future. Jennifer Suarez is the head of the marketing department. She is also the supervisor of the VR Project Internship. She ensures that we are given the essential information and materials that are needed for the VR project. She also ensures that we check in every week to check in our progress, to check if we need any assistance, and if we have any questions that we may need answered. I worked with another partner in a team of 2 to work on the VR project in order to add on to the project and make changes. This is in order to improve on the VR experience, such as converting the project from Unreal Engine 4.27 to Unreal Engine 5.1, and also finding a way to add a project onto the Meta Store, while also making a picture accurate in design of the Welcome Center, and so on and so forth. I had taken the role of the programmer of the VR project, while my partner, Andrew Peck, worked as the game designer of the VR project. Most of these codes were already in the VR tour, but I had to re-enter the codes in order to fix certain problems within the game that are required fixing. And so, like, some of the fixes didn't really need the blueprints, for example, like the computer couldn't go, like the player can't go through the fountain area, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. The solution to fix that problem was to resize the navigation mesh in order for the player to go into the front fountain area. My first duty was to convert the VR project from 4.27 to 5.1. My second duty was to set up the VR headset into the VR project and run diagnostics to see if anything needs to be fixed and if it's running smoothly. My third duty was to fix any of those issues in the VR project from converting it to 5.1. And my fourth duty was to research and find a way to add the VR project to the Meta Store for the future for anyone to download and experience the VR tour. My first skill was adapting and learning to new technologies. Learning how to use the Unreal Engine with the VR headset had really given me some specific knowledge on the subject. And because of that, I now have the ability of understanding how Unreal Engine works with the Oculus VR headset. And it allowed me to think about how I can improve on the VR experience in the project to make it more refined and interesting. The second skill was teamwork and critical thinking. Learning how to work with a team consisting of 2 people has given me insight on how to work in teams consisting of people I don't really know. Because of that, I now have the ability to work together with people that I never really met, depending on the number of people, more effectively, efficiently, and confidently. Learning how to solve a problem in a critical thinking manner has given me perspective on how people in the game design industry solve problems in the workforce. And because of that, it has allowed me to think more critically on how I can solve a certain problem without much help. The third skill is time management. I still have a tendency to struggle with managing time, especially with projects like this, but because of the VR project, I'm improving my time management each day, and it helps solidify just how important work-life balance is, while also making me think about what I can get done each day before my next meeting with my supervisor. The first learning outcome was to develop my technological skills by developing technological skills by understanding leveraging technologies that I've heard and learned and will learn. The first strategy that I would employ would be to learn about the VR Oculus VR system and how I can properly use it for the necessary processes that will be used for. The second strategy would be to utilize the UE features and blueprints in order to add the necessary features needed for the VR project to be more complete and finalized. I would develop teamwork skills by building and maintaining relationships in order to make more progress on the VR project. The first strategy that I would employ would be to attend the weekly meetings every week on Thursday for a specific time frame to ask questions and go over what is completed, what needs to be completed, and so on. The second strategy that I would employ will be to communicate with my fellow intern/teammate on Discord on how we should approach a certain task during the project, how much time we should spend on the task, and also plan on when we should be able to get these tasks done. My third learning outcome was to develop my critical thinking skills by identifying and responding to certain technical issues and roadblocks based on situation and context. The first strategy that I would employ to do this would be to identify certain errors that may occur within the code and blueprints within the Unreal Engine 5.1 and determine how the problem is caused, then find a solution to how to solve that problem. The second strategy would be to come up with with new ideas for the VR project that's both innovative and has never been done before. One of my positive moments was working with the VR headset and Unreal Engine. My second positive moment was working with a team to make the VR project as polished as possible. My third positive moment was making new connections with the supervisor and game designer while working on the VR project. One of the challenges that I've overcame was upgrading the VR project versions from 4.27 to 5.1. I was able to overcome this challenge by asking for help from my partner, Andrew Peck, and together we were able to convert the project from 4.27 to 5.1. My second challenge that I overcame was configuring the headset to the Unreal Engine. I spent some time figuring out how to configure the headset to the Unreal Engine while also running into problems, but I was able to configure the VR headset and after a few weeks, so not too bad. My third challenge was fixing some issues in the VR project that was caused from converting it to 5.1. I had to figure out how to fix most of these issues on my own since there's no real online resource that could help me fix those issues. So most of these problems I had to figure out on my own. I have changed professionally as I would remain the same, but I've become more confident in my ability to handle issues and problems by myself without much help. Personally, I have become more comfortable with asking questions as they are needed, or for further clarification on things that are not fully understood or that needs to be better understood as needed. I plan to finish my last semester at Peace and graduate with a minor in history, which I've already completed. I plan to pursue a career in game design, and I will be focusing on both the game design aspect and the graphic design aspect of the major, while also looking for positions that focus on both of those aspects that are and will be potentially available to apply to, depending on the situation. I would like to thank Jennifer Suarez for giving me the honor and opportunity to work on the VR project as the head programmer. I would also like to thank Andrew Peck for being such an awesome team member and for giving me guidance when I needed it. You did amazing work, and I sincerely wish you the best in your future endeavors. Anyway, that is all of the presentation. I look forward to seeing all of you next semester or later on in the future. And that is all.